Yesterday on Twitter, Alex Lieberman, CEO of MorningBrew, posted a set of questions, around 6 questions, 6 to 7 questions. Now, MorningBrew, if you don't already know, is an awesome newsletter, right? So it's much more than a newsletter. In fact, for me, it is my go-to kind of news channel, so to speak. You sign up, you subscribe, and then every day you get this really great collection of news items, business. It's you know what? It needs a separate video to talk about Morning Brew. Okay, so anyway, these questions were the basic but very interesting, and I thought I could do a quick video and relate them to how they might sort of impact or influence your brand building, the way you build your brand so that you can move your brand from the red ocean to the blue ocean, or in other words, to awaken your brand, right? Okay, so let's start with the questions. The first one is, who is your audience? Now, every brand, every entrepreneur, every businessman, in fact, everyone should always think about this question, should always ask this question. Who is your audience? A lot of businesses don't really ask this question. Well, they know who their audience is, or they think they know who their audience is. And it's generally a very vague kind of outlook, right? So they have a little bit of demographics, and they say, okay, I don't know, men aged 15 to 35 or 20 to 28, located in blah, blah, blah. Okay, now those demographics are good. They are, to a certain extent, yes, they do the job, but knowing your audience is much more than that. Knowing your audience is really knowing one person, one persona of that audience like they were your best friend. Only if you can know that person as an individual, as a friend, and then build that bio persona, build that kind of archetype, all those things, is when you can really understand how to communicate your brand message to that audience. So asking yourself this question is fundamental. The second question is, what problem are you solving? Very important. Now, a lot of people do think that they know the problem they're solving, but maybe not. So understanding the problem you're solving is very critical too. So take a look at the problem you're solving in detail. Look at it from not only a problem perspective, but also a solution perspective. Sometimes you have brands and businesses, apps, solutions that the world really doesn't need, or does it? So these are the kind of questions you need to ask. Not just simply having a service that you're offering or a product you've been offering for a little while and just going blind with it. That really doesn't really maximize your brand building efforts. So asking what problem you're solving and reflecting on it, meditating on it, digging deep, fundamental. The next one, what are your financial goals? Another big question that a lot of entrepreneurs or small business owners, even big business owners, don't really ask in a meaningful way. Of course, everyone is in business to make money, right? At least at a fundamental level. Money, generating revenue is really the end goal of any enterprise, any business venture. But having a great idea of your financial goals, realistic idea, detailed idea of your financial goals, now that is something that will help you take your brand from the red ocean to the blue ocean, to awaken your brand. Because financial goals are important. The financial goals will determine the kind of campaigns that you run, the steps you take, the business building efforts you put in. So having concrete and realistic financial goals, very important. The next question, what are your content pillars? Very tricky one. A lot of small business owners don't really think about this. They, in fact, have no idea what these content pillars are. A lot of them. I don't mean everyone, of course. There are lots of small business owners who have a great idea of what their content pillars are. But so content pillars are content that you generate that you can put your brand on. So this could be, for example, blog posts, right? So writing as a content pillar, video as a content pillar, podcasting as a content pillar, or LinkedIn engagement, Facebook engagement, advertising, paid advertising, SEO. All these are content pillars. Now, of course, purists might disagree and say, hang on, SEO cannot be a content pillar. I agree. I'm trying to put all these things in one basket to address the small business owner who may not know what these things are. So at an entry level, I just bunch them together. So knowing your content pillars is very important, okay? Because just because somebody says that you need to blog or you need to write blog posts doesn't mean that that is necessarily the right content pillar for you, your brand, your market segment, your target audience, and your product or service, right? So you need to pick and choose. You need to educate yourself to find the best content pillars for you. For me, the best content pillar for me and for my brand, for most of my brands, is writing, of course. I write a lot, and video. I don't do podcasting. Well, I did dabble a little bit, but it never went anywhere. And I don't think my audience really would, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll look at it down the line. But my main content pillars for not only for my agency, but also for my incubator and other companies that I run is writing and video. So what are your content pillars? And then once you have your content pillars, the question to ask is, what channels are your priority? Of course, if video is your content pillar, then of course, it's easier, right? So YouTube, maybe TikTok, Twitch, I don't know. There are many different channels that you could choose from. If it's writing, then of course your blog, Medium maybe, LinkedIn, yeah. You can write on a number of places, right? So what channels are your priority is a question you need to ask every single month, because it could keep changing. If your content strategy changes, just because you've invested, let's say you've been blogging for 6 months, right? You've written, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 articles, and you've invested a lot of time and effort. And it is very tempting to say, if you need to pivot, you need to change, and you realize that it's not really working out, or you want to try something else, it's hard to let go. But spending more time into losing kind of channels, it's a waste of time, right? So be ready to cut clean, or at least park that for some time and then move into a new channel to see what's going on. So ask yourself, what channels are your priority? And then finally, are you a personality or brand driven? So that means, for example, with my agency and with my incubator, it's a personality driven kind of situation, right? And the personality is me. So I am very vocal. I write, I create videos, I tweet, I am on LinkedIn, I'm on social media. And especially for our agency, I am the personality. I'm the face of the agency. Especially now after COVID, we've become 100% remote, virtual, canceled all the leases on the open floor kind of studio system, saved a ton of money. That's another video for another day. But yeah, so my personality is the brand, the face of the brand. What about you? Ask yourself, are you personality or brand driven, right? Because sometimes you could be a personality driven, maybe that's not right for your brand. Or it could be brand driven, maybe it needs more of your personality, right? So ask these questions. So these 6 questions are fundamental questions that you should be asking yourself, if not every single day, every week, and every month. And kudos to Alex for putting these questions on Twitter. And if you have any questions about these questions, just leave a comment below and I will try to answer them. But remember, the goal is to awaken your brand, not just your business, but your brand. And the brand could be you, right? If it's a personal brand and you're an entrepreneur, then awaken yourself. And that goes through education, right? So learning, evaluating, reflecting. And of course, taking your brand from the red ocean to the blue ocean. So you awaken and the process will take you there. All right. So if you have any questions, just leave them below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and till my next video, take care.